Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're back with a little bit of a guide for Daily Race C. So while I was live earlier on today, we were racing from the back of the grid on Daily Race C on our second account. We actually had quite a good race to emphasize the importance of working together and team, working as a team. And yeah, the difference between driving the way we do in this video to compare to if you're battling away is quite a big difference in this combination. I'm going to point out some other pointers for this race to help you out in terms of tyre wear, etc. It does seem like the McLaren GTR is the car to go for this race. Its top speed is just insane when you're in that slipstream. Comparing it to, for example, the Nissan GTR and other cars, you will see what I mean by straight line speed. The GTR really does struggle once it gets into that final gear compared to the GTR, and even other cars like the Mazda Vision just don't seem to be able to cope too well with that top speed compared to this car. So starting the race, we're right behind Will there in front of us, and we're starting from P17 in this Daily Race C. I found that brake bias -2 to -1 seemed to work quite nicely with the McLaren GTR. I did try -4 to start with. Now the problem with this was the front tyres were dead with the tyre wear on the softer compound tyres. So we're going to go past Consta here. He's in the Vision. I'd already seen in the race before this, the Vision wasn't particularly fast down the straight. You see the Vision, GTR there, Quentin. We're braking nice and early. Consta, I think there, misjudges his braking and deliberately hits the wall to try and slow himself down, but still manages to make a move. However, this is another pointer I need to get you aware of, is the wall penalties on this seem to be quite sensitive compared to the contact penalties that have been going on recently in GT Sport. So you have to be very cautious because you can pick up penalties very easily for contact on the wall. So just be a bit cautious, especially into turn 1. Brake a little bit earlier when you're in the slipstream, because if you do hit another car, it happened to us in a race. We got hit from behind and that pushed us into the wall, and then you can pick up a penalty for getting rammed into the wall. It's yet another bit of a silly situation with the penalty system, but it's actually quite fun, this race. If you go into this race wanting ultra serious racing and you want it to be ultra clean, you're going to be disappointed. Go on your second account, however, and just go into the race with an open mind. Enjoy the battling, enjoy the carnage, enjoy the chaos, and it's actually quite fun. I had quite a good time streaming this earlier today. So yeah, that is one reason why this video is going out for the night time, because my partner is in work until on a late night tonight where she works. So unfortunately, not able to get any streams out while she's in work, so I've got to get the kids ready for bed, obviously. So yeah, thought I'd bring you this little guide for Daily Race C. I hope you enjoy it, and make sure you do hit that like button and subscribe as well if you are enjoying this content. It does help the channel out massively, obviously. So going down straight, fast forward in the action. We don't need to watch that long, massive straight that just seems to go on forever. And you can see the amount of time we gain on that Nissan GTR there on the right hand side is quite big. But you can see we saw a bit of an opportunity open up there. They went a bit deep. We cut back on the inside and we spot a nice little gap there. We're going to try and tuck in behind this McLaren with the penalty. However, Will's got other ideas there on the left hand side. He's managed to get his car alongside us. However, we've got the slipstream on the outside here, and then we're going to be working our way into that really tricky bend by the tunnel. Now this is the corner you really do not want to go side by side, and I think you'll see it. Will decides to back out of that sensible drive, and there's no point. This is another thing I need to emphasize. You need to try not to battle too much. If you've got drivers near you, instead of going side by side through these corners, which is only going to lose you time, this track is all about slipstream. You want to stay in the slipstream as long as possible. As Will goes for a move on the inside there, that's because of my mistake from hitting the wall. A bit of a silly mistake to make, but we're going to hold the inside here. Yeah, if you battle too much, you can see now we're all battling, and all this is doing is this is going to lose you a lot of time. As Will goes up the inside there, we're going to let him take that, and we've got cars with countless of penalties in front of us because, like I say, them wall contacts, they will give you penalties. So be extra careful on this week's Daily Race C. You can pick up them penalties. But now we're coming up to a big group of cars. You can see cars everywhere on the track, and it is entertaining. I have enjoyed racing this race earlier today. We've got a car that's just hit the wall. We had to go to the left there just about in time to avoid him, and luckily Will behind us just about also manages to avoid contact with myself. You can see now we're getting the slipstream from the car on the right. Will's going for the other car on the left. Will's got a bit more of overspeed there from being able to get out of the way of that car a little bit soon. So now I'm going to go to the left. You watch this. We're going to jink all the way over to the left behind Will, and we actually managed to give him a little bit of a bump draft then. So helped him out of a little bit of contact as well, and gets ourselves past that little group of cars, and now we're going to go and give Will a little bit of bump drafting. From this point onwards, we're going to try and work together if possible. You will see a bit more battling going on, but it really does help out to not battle too much, you see. Breaking early here, making sure we don't hit Will there. I think he thought we were going to break a bit later and hit him there. He got out of the way just in case. Making sure that he doesn't obviously get hit into the walls. You can see another car up ahead there with another 1.5 second penalty. So like I say, be very cautious on these contacts for walls. There is also a few contact penalties I've seen during the races for hitting other cars as well. However, mainly it does seem to be that penalty that you're going to get for, you know, grinding along the wall, getting pushed into the wall, etc. As we see a little bit of an issue there. I don't know if Will should have backed out that one. Will possibly was a little bit rude to that driver there, but I take advantage of that. I'll take them all day. I actually backed off before the corner because I can see it. If you want, when I put the live stream back to being live, at the moment it's private obviously because I want to get this video out, but when that video does go back live, you will see what I mean. I think during the stream I was a bit, I think Will should have probably backed out of that. I think it was a little bit naughty, but I will take that. We'll gain them positions, and we've nearly broke the slipstream to the car behind here now. So as we work into that final corner, we've got a bit of a gap now. We're on lap 3 and we're coming towards the end of the stint on the mediums. Well, what would normally be the end. So the options are, in my view, you can pit lap 3, 4 or 5 when you're on the medium tyre. Now you have to use both tyres for this race, the soft and the medium tyre. Now the medium tyres are not the best, you see there. As we go down the main straight, a few cars have pitted there. I think Will decided to jump into the pits as we skip to the end of lap 4. Will decided to jump in the pits. Now I would normally pit on lap 4, but I decided that to stay out here to avoid possibly coming out in a group of cars, because if you look on the map, the pit lane loss is about 14 seconds, and I was a bit worried about where I would come out on the soft tyres, whether I would lose time. And I also thought if I can push on here, we might be able to pick up the slipstream to Momo's and gain a little half a second on this lap, which we managed to do with quite a solid lap on the end lap. But yeah, this is the longest you're going to run on the medium tyres in the McLaren GTR. You can pit lap 3 and they will last to the end. Just bear in mind that, you know, the tyres will start getting a little bit worn on that 7th lap on the soft tyres. Lap 4 seems to be quite optimal in terms of doing 4 laps on the medium and then doing 6 laps on the softer compound tyre. Seems to be quite optimal in terms of your race pace. However, if you get lucky like I have here, 5.5 can be quite a nice little divide, because we're going to boost Momo's now down the straight. There's no point in me overtaking Momo's at this point because I'm going into the pit, so there's 0 point in me overtaking him. I might as well bump draft him and gain a bit of extra speed on my way into the pit lane. So he goes on his way, I go into the pits, and now we're going to put them soft tyres on to see where we come out now. This is going to be interesting. I think Quentin might have pitted on lap possibly 2 or 3. I don't know how early he pitted, but I think he pitted very early in the GTR. And we've got Will who pitted on the end of lap 4. But you can see we've come out the pits and we've come out ahead of Quentin and Will, but Quentin is obviously going to have a massive overdrive of speed coming down the straight. Good thing is though, the McLaren very fast at getting up to speed, so into that 6th gear, still accelerated. Quentin's going to go down the left and we're going to try and tuck into his slipstream briefly here before Will is going to come down the right. Is Will going to go for a move into the corner? We're going to go defensive actually here and try and hold into Quentin's slipstream. Now I wasn't 100% sure at this point how long Quentin had been on them tyres, but my guess is he had been on them for quite a while and pitted quite early. So yeah, now we're going to have to try and work together from this point onwards, myself and Will, or Quentin. I wasn't sure who I was going to work with at this point. That's why I defended against Will on that corner, because I wanted to get into Quentin's slipstream and maybe, you know, he might be able to drag us forward. However, GTR, I don't think it's the best car for this race. It seems to struggle on top end. You'll see what I mean when we get to the straights. It's just not got that straight line speed that the McLaren's got compared to the GTR. The GTR just struggles so much. So you see through here, quick bit of a scruffy lap this. We're bouncing off walls, but the good thing is we're still in P7, which is not too bad. We've pitted. Other cars still have to pit in this race also. So working our way towards the end of the lap now, going through this long left-hand corner, trying to get a good exit, and just about into Quentin's slipstream here. But the good thing is, like I say, the McLaren is so much faster than that GTR on the straights. You're going to see it now as we go into the final corner, making sure that we brake nicely. I like to take a very narrow line through there. It seems to be very nice for the McLaren to take a nice tight line. Quentin go for a wider line, maybe trying to get a stronger exit. Now at this point here, I wasn't sure how fast the GTR was, but you're going to see now. I decided to bump draft him on the first bit because I thought we could work with him here, but then when I seen how slow his car was, I felt it was a better idea to just go past this GTR, because you're going to see we gave him a bump draft, but it just didn't seem to do nothing to his car. You can see how slow it was. So yeah, decided the better option possibly here is to go down the right hand side. Will then goes down our right hand side. We've got a car coming out the pits on our left. Yeah, we're up into P5 now. We got Will slipstream. He's gone to the left hand side. We're going to tuck into that slipstream. And now again, we're going to try and work with Will. We're not going to battle with him. You see, I'm going over to the left hand side of the track, and I'm actually going to brake early just so that he's got a bit of room to go into the corner. I didn't really want to battle with him at this stage. I wanted to try and work with him to see if we can push on for a podium position in this race, because one, I know Momos hasn't pitted at this time. I was aware that Momos hadn't pitted, and I was wondering how long he was staying out on them soft tyres. Obviously you can do 7 laps, but it's quite, I think if you're starting on the soft, you probably want to pit on the end of lap 6 in the McLaren, as we watch these amazing replay cameras, again looking absolutely amazing on GT Sport. By the way, just so you're wondering, the gameplay footage isn't recorded the normal way I record it. Obviously, because I was live streaming, I took the footage from the PS5, recorded at 1080p 60 FPS. So it is upscaled to 1440p or whatever it upscales to on my rendering software. However, it might not quite look as good as when I record through Streamlabs because the bitrate isn't as high, so just bear that in mind. The replay footage should look like normal because I've recorded all the replay footage from the Streamlabs software, but as we, looked amazing on this part. Just in case you were wondering why the gameplay footage might look a little bit lower, that is the reason. As we work into that final corner again, you can see I always like to go to the right hand side there. Even though I'm not going to go for a move, it just gives me more of a line of sight into the braking area. If you're right behind someone on that braking zone, it also helps with avoiding hitting them if you misjudge your brake. So I always, towards the braking zone, try and pull out a little bit of the slipstream. Just go to the right hand side, see where the braking points are. Also, if you brake late, you're not going to kill the driver in front. So it's just something I tend to do. And again, on the main straight, we're going to bump draft Will all the way down straight. Fast forward in this, you can see this is where the teamwork really kicks in, and you can see the difference. Look at Quentin just getting left behind in that GTR. The GTR just doesn't have that straight line speed. The McLaren is so powerful at this track. But yeah, managed to get rid of the slipstream from Quentin now, and now we can concentrate, myself and Will, working together. I'm going to try and work with Will, bump draft him along, and see if we can get into that podium position. And you never know, a win might be possible in this race as we work our way along, trying to keep it smooth. Again, we're going to give him a little tap here, just give him a little boost of speed, and then I'm going to make sure I lift a little bit earlier than what I normally would through this tunnel section. Another bit of advice through here: if you want to keep it consistent, you don't need to be taking the maximum speed through that section. Just give it a little lift, make sure you get through smoothly, and then you're back in the slipstream, which we all know Gran Turismo's slipstream is incredibly powerful. So yeah, just trying to make sure you do a smooth run when you're in that slipstream. Drive smooth, drive sensibly, lift off early, brake a little bit early, and you'll stay in the slipstream to the car in front. It's always a good tactic to do, rather than overdriving the car and be as close as you can to that car in front. 3-4 attempts behind, 5 attempts behind, even 6 attempts behind, you'll just get so much slipstream, it'll boost you straight back up. So again, giving them a little nudge and then braking nice and early. You see how I brake nice and early on the 150. You can actually brake between the 150 and the 100 normally. I braked on the 150 just so we didn't hit Will. We're trying to work together, we're trying to boost our lap times and trying to make sure that we get good laps in to get as close as possible to that group. You can see we are catching that group, and again, we're going to bump draft our way all the way down the main straight as we fast forward the action, and you can see we're getting very close to that group for the podium position. We've got 2 laps to go. We go over the line with a reasonably okay lap there. You can see Will also got quite a good lap as well. As we're bump drafting along, we're doing pretty decent pace. I'm not overdriving the car, and also I have the advantage of having a lap newer tyres than Will. So through the corners, I'm not finding it hard to stay with him. Will's a faster driver than me on this game, I know that, so I'm not going to do anything stupid. If I can get the win, I will obviously try and get the win, but we're going to keep bump drafting, you see, giving him that bump draft, and at the moment things are going well. We started 17th in this race, and we're up to P5, so it does show you, if you drive it clever, if you drive smart in this state racing, it is possible to have a good result. The problem comes when people start diving and they want to just be free wide through these fast corners. With it being so fast flowing, if you start getting scruffy, it really does affect your overall pace, I find. Especially with this track, I find this track very rhythm based. Once you get into a rhythm of swinging it into the corners, using the full width of the track, skimming off the walls and stuff like that, you find that your lap times really come down. But as soon as you get messy, it all starts going worse and your lap times really slow down. But yeah, you can see P3 isn't far in front of us now. Very close to P3 as we go through this final corner. Again, that similar line. getting on the throttle nice and early, into second gear early as well, just so we don't overdrive that first gear and lose the rear end. And now working our way down the straight. You can see the tyres are still pretty okay. We've got 1 lap to go, and with that 5-5 split, it's worked quite well. I think that is the longest you want to do on the mediums. I wouldn't do anything more than that. Normally 4-6 is a better split. But you see, we managed to bump draft ourselves past that car there. Wheels up to P3, I'm up to P4. Able to take much tighter lines, and Will's done that extra lap on the tyres, so his tyres are obviously a little bit more warm than mine. And yeah, this -2 brake bias seems to be working quite well. You could probably run -1. I think -1 or 0 would possibly work as well. But I found my -2 was quite good in the braking zones. It felt really nice for them heavy braking zones. But yeah, we're still bump drafting Wheels. No point trying to overtake him through here. It would only lose us time, and if we bump draft him, we might be able to fight for a win in this race. Now, my tactic was here. We could see that Momo's wasn't far ahead. Now, my tactic was to get onto the main straight, and I was pretty confident at this point that Momo's hadn't pitted. You'll hear that when I put the live stream back on, probably tomorrow morning or something, but I was pretty confident that Momo's hadn't pitted at this point, so I knew that a podium was going to be achievable here, and possibly a win. So I was hoping they would not get in Momo's slipstream, and they would fight, leaving me to get the slipstream off both of them on the main straight. However, you can see going into this corner here, you can see leaving a bit of a gap. I'm going to take a bit of a different line. Normally I like that tight line to, you know, get a really early entry, but I'd go for a little bit of a wider entry this time and try and concentrate on my exit speed. However, they've managed to get in the slipstream of Momo's only just about. You can see they're battling away. The plan nearly worked out here, really. Unfortunately, they got the slipstream off Momo's, and I just wasn't able to gain the speed down the straight. But if they didn't manage to get that, if Momo's would have pitted, I blame you, Momo's. Next time pit. He hadn't pitted, you see, so if he'd actually gone in the pits, that might have worked out at that point there, and we might have been able to get past them. But we managed to come over with P3. Momo's gets his 1 minute penalty for not changing tyres, unfortunately. So sorry, Momo's. Make sure you pit next time. But a good fun race. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it as well. And hopefully some of the pointers that we've pointed out in terms of racing together, you know, not overdriving the car, don't battle when you don't need to, will help you out in terms of increasing your DR for this Daily Race C if you are risking it on your main account. I don't think penalties are going to be a massive issue in terms of SR resets or stuff like that. You know, the penalty system at the moment is pretty much non-valid. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Do hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, let me know in the comment section what you think about the video, and I'll see you all again for more content very soon. Thanks again for watching, everyone.